Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Elena. Today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me as well as start kind of a new series. I don't know where we're going to go with this just yet. I just like to discuss like weird topics, so I feel like I want to talk about things that I've like learned for the week, like weekly Wednesdays. I guess that I'll call it weekly Wednesdays. Let's call it what it is now. Today I'm going to be kind of talking about something that I watched on Vice recently. It's an older video and I like watching Vice on YouTube just to watch different things that are going on in the world that I didn't know about. Some are things that are old, some are things that are, newer. I just went kind of into a rabbit hole of documentaries and learning new facts about things that are happening, but different topics. But today I'm going to be basically talking about kidnapping bride engagements that are happening in, it's called wait, I have to look at it because I have such a hard time like pronouncing the name. It's Kyrgyzstan. I'm just going to put it up there because I'm really terrible at explaining or pronouncing words. I realized that in my last video I pronounced a product wrong. I think it was called, see, I already forgot it. Anyways, if you really like what you see here, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Let's get right into it. Let me start off by saying that I actually kind of hate Weekly Wednesday, the name, so I think it's kind of stupid. So I will figure out a name for this later, I guess. I don't know. It's question mark. If you have an idea on what I should name it, then please comment if anyone's watching this. But yeah, I'm just going to jump right into basically just priming my face, of course, and then jump right into the topic, which is, okay, let me just start off by saying I went on a tangent, so I'm kind of restarting this again, but basically in Kyrgyzstan, I'm saying this wrong, this is the last time I say the name, they basically, to propose to their bride, they kidnap the women that they were talking to and stuff like that. It's just in their history where they basically, get their relatives all together, and they, like their friends and relatives, like specifically men, and they'll steal like the bride to be pretty much, and they will just like on the streets will steal the woman, and she will be like fighting to get out of, basically like totally bad. Like when I was watching the video, I was just like, what is going on? She was just like calling out for her mom, and it was just really, really sad. Basically later on she was saying to the documentary people that were there that, he promised her that, they weren't gonna like propose this way, and that she was going to wait until after she was done with school to maybe get married or even talk about getting married to him. But then, in their culture, like, it's not really regulated. Like, they say that it's kind of regulated where it's, you'll go to jail if, you'll go to jail pretty much if you do it anymore. Like, the cops will just be like, oh, they're getting married, they're so happy, it's just, it's really fucked up for the woman. And so basically, so the woman gets kidnapped from like off the street, in which I saw, and they take her, like, they kind of settle her down, and then they immediately take her. So they immediately take her to where they're going to kind of have the marriage ceremony. All the elder women in this kind of tented area room. They have a bunch of elderly women that like basically are like, oh, like you're gonna be so happy, and like calm her down because she like refuses to wear like a veil to kind of signify that, that she is going to get married to this guy. And so, which is like, just imagine like you getting proposed that way. Like, it's so romantic and beautiful when you get proposed to, and just like imagine if your culture like but it just seems so cruel, and the amount of women afterwards that commit suicide is a high rate. And it's just really, really sad. Obviously, they don't want to get married, you know, and just, like, bore kids. Like, especially nowadays, it's just, like, this woman that was specifically on the documentary was basically, you know, in school to be, like, a lawyer. So it's just really sad that, you know, this happens, and it was kind of against her will. And so, back to the ceremony part, they have all the elder women that come in, and, like, they take this little veil and they're, like, trying to put it on her and just calm her down. And sometimes this takes up to about, like, 2 hours to, like, calm her down. You know, obviously, like, I would be freaking out. I would be, like, asking where my parents are, and, you know, like, I think she was about 18, but I mean, at any age, that's, like, so young, and traumatic. Like, I don't want to be proposed to that way. That's horrible. And so, like, literally against your will. And so all the women calm her down and, like, give her, like, candies, and they basically, like, calm her down where she, you know, just has a moment to breathe. And at the same time, the men are basically butchering a sheep that they have, and they're kind of using the sheep as, you know, food, and also kind of they're making, like, this soup / like, just food in general with the sheep to go to, like, the parents of the bride to basically say sorry. I guess that's what they said, like, to say sorry that they stole their daughter, like, kidnapped her. Like, sorry, here's it, you know, here's some food. So basically, they go, it's just like the groomsmen and the family of the groom. They go over to the bride's family's house, and they go over there and drink and have food. And in the video that I watched, they pretty much put, like, a live sheep as well in the trunk, and they take it over to the bride's family, and they, like, wait outside for a little bit, and then they get greeted in, and then they present the sheep as well as, like, a gift, like, as many, you know, as gifts, so they present the sheep, and then they also have other gifts where they bring to the bride and stuff, bride's family. And they drink, and they kind of just talk about, like, the wedding and stuff, because, like, literally right after this, they're getting ready, like, the bride is getting ready to get married, like, that day. And so, as I was watching it, I was just, like, thinking about just how could I even, like, try to comprehend what she's feeling, you know? Like, it's just really upsetting to, like, kind of see that, you know, she 1 minute was kidnapped by all these groomsmen, and then the next minute she's gonna get married. Like, it's just, I think, is very sad. But basically afterwards, after, like, the party with the groom and the groom's family and the bride's family, obviously, they pretty much get married, and they have, you know, another party. Obviously it's like the wedding. They have, you know, the rest of the sheep, I guess. I'm not sure what they were eating, but there was a lot of drinking, and then it was, like, right after they get married, they, you know, obviously take pictures and stuff like that. Also, the very kind of upsetting part as well is the bride had to pretty much kind of show her worth to the family, like, basically be a human servant to this family, and kind of, like, clean up after them and serve them food, like, right after she gets married. Make sure that they have coffee, and, you know, they're just, like, she's just having to show her worth, as she's going to be pretty much a housewife And like I said, it's very, very sad that this actually happens. And like she said, she like didn't want to get married right away, but obviously he's making that kind of choice for her, since she wants to be a lawyer. But my camera shut off, so I was talking about, what I was saying was the reason for, like, kind of the history behind it is by kidnapping the bride, like the dowry, which is like basically the amount of money that I believe the groomsmen have to pay or something like that, is they don't have to like pay as much to like get the girl pretty much, if they just kidnap her. Like, I guess it's like 2/3 of what it would be. So I was reading that there's like this elderly couple that was talking about how they don't like the newer way of like kind of kidnapping these brides, just because it's more consensual, that they're basically all knowing that she's going to be marrying this guy. Like, she has consented to be kidnapped. So according to Vice, they were explaining, one of the elders was explaining kind of the history behind it, and it kind of was like this, I don't remember who it was, but it was in their history, basically, that there's this guy that wanted to, or this woman and this guy, obviously, wanted to get married, and they didn't have the family's permission to, and they didn't have like the family blessing. So he basically was like, oh, I'm going to steal you away, and we're going to go and have this romantic kind of getaway, and it's just us against the world. And, which, I mean, hearing it, it sounds totally cool and everything, but I don't know, stealing her from just the streets and being like, you're gonna marry me, that sounds a little bit extra than just being like, we're going to get away, to me. But that's just my tea behind it, pretty much. So yeah, basically that is kind of the history behind it. But you know, I think in my kind of explanation after I like just told you what I pretty much watched, and like, hi, editing Elena here. I found out my outro got deleted, so I'm going to be kind of saying my final thoughts of the Vice video that I watched, that it unfortunately is not uncommon for this kind of thing to happen, forced marriages to happen in America even. I saw a video that I'll be linking down below, as well as the Vice video in the description box, kind of if you want to know more information about it, if you thought that was kind of interesting and you want to go down the rabbit hole that is Vice videos, like I did. You know, unfortunately, it's not uncommon for forced marriages to happen. It happens all over the world in all different cultures. I just was kind of explaining in this kind of area in the world that kidnapping marriages happen, and they're trying to stop it right now. Actually, I read another article that they basically, there's a lot of advocate groups that are trying to stop this because, like I showed in the video, there's a lot of high suicide rates, and, you know, daughters of these people that are committing suicide because they don't want to be dealing with the abuse of like, you know, being married to, you know, someone that you're forced to be married with, and living, you know, a life that they thought, you know, would be, it is horrible, and the whole thing is horrible, and, you know, I don't wish it upon anyone. But I really hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll be also linking all of the makeup that I used on my face in the description box. So every Wednesday, sorry, that was my boyfriend, I'll be doing videos every Wednesday on like kind of weird subject matter Wednesdays, I guess. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Weird subject matter Wednesdays. And then I would be talking about everything, fun stuff, mostly weird stuff, just because this is something I came across and I thought it was kind of terrible, weird, whatever you'd like to call it. Like I said, I hope you enjoy the video, and see you in my next one. Bye.